When I first started, I was underprepared. I remember completing my marathon, I told you about London, 4:55, and I remember I got to about halfway and I was thinking, this is just too much. There's the physical side and then there's the mental side, and that really just sort of broke me. And I remember taking some time off running because I was like, I was not quite prepared for the physical and the mental side of it.
It's almost just acknowledging that, like, when you're on a long run, it's going to suck for a bit. So don't be upset when that suck arrives, because it's like, it's part of the process.
I do struggle to get my head in the game sometimes with a run. The tempo runs seem to be really getting to me psychologically, and I'm really psyching myself out for them before I start. Just my way of getting through it is to know that if I at least try, the effort is the same. So if I don't hit the pace, I know that that effort is worth something and it's progress towards the end goal regardless. And I try and just treat each run and each week as its own entity, I guess.
Do you find building the resilience through the runs helps outside of running? You almost know what to do when things get really dark. So when things get dark outside of running, you're like, no.
No, I agree with that. When you're running, it's like problem solving on the go, because you're thinking this really hurts, or I'm going to be sick, or this is happening, and you're having to sort of work out what you're going to do. You can't just be like, I'm going to stop.
I think there's even some stats around senior management levels, like you're more likely to be someone that's exercised because it helps you in so many ways in day-to-day life. Like you're more resilient, you're more confident.
A lesson I've learned from running and is, you know, we talked about pain and whatever thing's being quite painful, you know it's always going to end at some point. I tell myself before I go for a run, just if you're struggling, which everyone does, just find like the space between the breath and remember I can breathe and just take a moment just to reflect rather than having to be like reactionary.
I quite like it. I don't know why. When things get dark, that's probably the most cathartic part of long runs. You sort of go, oh, it hurts, but it's supposed to. Like I'm running 16, 20, it hurts, but it's okay.
That's something I've learned as well, like the more I become comfortable being uncomfortable, the easier it's got. Yeah, and you always know it's going to be over. Yeah. And even if you're running, it's really hurting. You're like, if I stop, it's going to be exactly the same amount of pain if I still keep going.
Personally, for me, the lactic acid buffer has been like an absolute godsend. I used it when I was doing the Ragnar Relay. I've done the Ragnar Relay 3 times now, and the first 2 times, by the 3rd leg, I was kind of really suffering a little bit and I wasn't able to push as hard. And I think this time around, like taking those supplements just really helped me recover and get ready for each effort and put more into it. But I also think that the Hydro X is great for like if I've gone out and had a run and need to get some electrolytes in and just get that, you know, refresh after a run, because I don't always take water with me.
For me, the primary items I use are the lactic buffer. I think that helps with recovery, especially the hard days. And the immune boost tabs as well, I find, especially with not as much sleep as I'd like, and it's help, and your immune system drops anyways after long runs. So I think those 2 are my primary sort of go-to.
I think the lactic buffer is a bit like a silent assassin, because you don't really get why it feels better until you think about it. Like just to help him with recovery, because our mileage jumped pretty quick. Like I'm on 46 mile weeks, you're on
Like 40.
I think not just for the actual benefits of what's in any supplement, the actual fact that you're taking it puts your mind in a place where you are nailing it. It's like, right, I'm going to go for it. I need to tick every box, which is where my diet's better, taking supplements, you know, attempting to get the right amount of sleep, and just taking supplements almost puts you in that frame of mind.
It's like that speech, isn't it, about making your bed and how it sets your day right for the rest of the day because you've made your bed. Like if you leave things in a mess, then you get home and your life's a mess. Like it's that first step, isn't it?
Also makes rest day feel part of the process as well, because normally sometimes rest day you're like, I should be doing something, but just ticking those boxes of nutrition and supplements is like, I'm still training.
There's a book that I was reading as well called The Runner's Brain, and in part of that it says that to be a runner and really get the motivation to stick at it, you kind of have to become a runner in every sense. And so you're right, like saying taking that supplement starts me off for the day, that's actually part of it. And like identifying as a runner makes you more motivated to stick to your plan.